Hi, welcome back. My name is Dr. Becca, physical therapist, and today I'm excited to share with you the first video series of a yoga series. And specifically, we're going to be going through a yoga series made for people with low back arthritis. So if you have that pathology, this is made for you at an intermediate level. Just one caveat, if you currently do have low back pain, I wouldn't recommend jumping into it right now, but this is made for you and has benefits for the long term. So go ahead and give a like or comment below if you found this helpful for you, and I'll see you at the mat. All right, let's get started. So we're going to be starting in standing, and we're going to start with a little bit of extension, arms going overhead. Make sure you squeeze those glutes, bending back as far as you can. And then we'll come back down to flat back. Try to get those knees straight. I am a little tight in my hamstrings. After working out yesterday, I did a lot of lunges, so this is feeling pretty good for me. Come back up, and we're going to go back up all the way. We're doing this 3 times just to help warm us up a little bit in our lower back. So flat back, get those knees straight as best you can, and then forward fold back down. So use those hands around your ankle to get a little bit more into that stretch. Okay, last one. Bend back, squeeze the glutes. Cactus arms down, opening up our chest. Flat back. And then forward fold. Use your hands, bending as far down as you can. So our first movement is going to go into warrior twos, and we're going to be doing some side angles. So just take your time with this. Breathe in, exhale on the release. Good. We're just going back about 4 times. Back and forth. This is a great for lateral flexion at your lower spine. That's why I'm doing this. So just take your time. Just feel out what's good for you. And of course, this is in standing, so it helps to warm up our legs a little bit to get the circulation going. Those lower leg muscles are so important to stay strong and healthy to support our lower back, because more likely than not, we need to be bending down, lifting things. So if your legs aren't strong, it's not going to help your back, and we're going to be compensating from our back. So upward dog to downward dog. We're doing about 6 steps, so step it out to stretch out those legs. Think of those hips going high to the ceiling. And then we'll step back up. We're going to do the other side 4 times each way for the side angles. Good. Reach out as far as you can. Try to get that hand on your leg going down low so you can get a little bit of a better side bend. We don't get the side bending enough, and if we don't practice it, those muscles aren't going to be strong in a controlled manner. So if you're twisting or you find like your episodes of back pain come on due to twisting, this is a great one to practice when we're not in the middle of a pain episode. Good. So back to downward dog, upward dog. Squeeze your glutes, hold it for a second. Take a nice deep breath in, and then going back into downward dogs. And we'll do 6 steps again. And this felt really good for me. It helps to stretch out your calves and your hamstrings and just opening up that lower back a little bit more. Okay, so our next one is going to be on your hands and knees. We're doing a thread the needle. So you want to go in and out as far as you can. Rotate in. Good, and then rotate out as far as you can. We're doing 5 for each side. So this one is focusing, of course, on the rotational aspect of the lower spine. And I like this position because it's locking out your hips by having your hips and knees bent in this manner. So you're only working from your entire spine, the cervical, thoracic, and lumbar spine. Good. We'll stretch it out again in downward dog, and we'll get back to the other side. Good. Just fixing the shirt, and go back in, reach in as far as you can, then rotate out. Again, trying to coordinate with your breathing. I was doing an inhale on reaching inwards, and then exhale as I rotate back out. You want to make sure you're looking as far as you can too, both ways. So don't forget about that neck rotation. Good, we're going to go back into upward dog. Get that back stretch again, squeeze your glutes. Opens up the hip flexors as well. You could do a little bit more rotational aspect to get a little bit more range. And then back down to downward dog in our 6 steps. And so this one's going back to hands and knees. This is a quadruped and doing a opposite arm and leg Superman. So it's going into extension, then crunching back in, back to extension. Good. I'm lifting my head up as I'm lifting up as well and squeezing my glutes. I like this exercise because it has a balance component to it, so we have to stabilize our core as we're doing this on our opposite arm and leg. So if you notice that, just try to, of course you want to hold your balance. And again, I'm coordinating my breath with an inhale as I go in and then out, exhale. And again, we're doing 5 of these. All right, great. Let's go back into our upward dog. I love this as a transition because we always need that extension. More so than not, we always need extension. We live in a flexion-based world. So it's nice to have these two opposites working with each other. Okay, we're going to go back to standing. We're going to get into a triangle pose. So this is a coordinated triangle pose with a sumo squat between each side. So reaching down as far as you can, get that hand up, then come back up, and then we're going to go into sumo squat. Mine looks a little funky, my squat. It doesn't look exactly symmetrical. It's just because my camera angle is off. But try to keep those feet equal distance from each other from your hips. We're going back and forth about 4 times. So reach as far down as you can. Good. And use those lateral oblique muscles to help you get back up. And even squeezing the side of your hips will help as well. These sumo squats are also great because it's a great hip opener. And a lot of the times we don't get to have our feet spread out wide and performing a squat. And sometimes we need to do this and practice this if we're picking up a little bit bulkier objects from the floor. Okay, good. We're going to go back down. Let's do our transition into upward dog and then downward dog. Just take a second to enjoy this stretch. And we'll do our 6 steps. Okay, so one of the last ones for today is going into a child's pose. So try to get your hips as close to your heels as comfortable. We're going to be staying there, and then I'm going to be rocking my hips back and forth just to get a little bit more flexion, stretch in that lower spine. So this shouldn't be painful. If it is, back off a little bit. You can just hold this stretch as well. And we're doing about 6. Awesome. Okay. So we're going to head back down to our back, laying down. We're going to be going into some lateral trunk rotations. So bringing both legs at a 90-degree knee flexion and hip flexion are at 90 degrees, rotating out. This is just like a nice rotational stretch to end with in our thoracolumbar spine. So I'm holding for about 4 to 5 breaths. Nice and deep. Nice inhale and slowly exhale out. And let's switch sides. And if you want a little bit of a bigger stretch, you can always extend out your legs. So I'm doing this right here if you can see me. It will add a little bit more torque to that lower spine when our legs are further out and not bent at 90 degrees. Okay, so that's about it. We're just going to come back after a quick hip stretch here. We're going to come back into sitting cross-legged and just focusing on elongating our spine as best we can. Pull your hips forward to get that nice straight back. Nice deep breaths when we inhale. And then exhale, you want to think your shoulders are relaxing next to your side and coming down. Okay, looking straight ahead. Your hip flexors are going to be working a little bit harder to bring your hips forward, and that's okay. It's just because we don't have any type of object underneath our butt. So we'll see you next time. Thank you so much for joining.